My. I must say, I really like those jeans that you have on. Yeah, I really like your leather jacket too. Let's both stare at each other weirdly and awkwardly. Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Bug-Ass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Walking Dead 10-inch Negan Deluxe action figure. So before we take a look at Negan, let's take a look at his accessories. Now out of the package, I took this off, it's really easy. He only comes with one arm that's attached. You have to take both arms, well, one arm off, to get Lucille into his hands. And I must say that his right arm right here, his hand tends to fall off really easily. Like really, really easily. So you kind of have to do that. Now you have to put this together here. I just wanted to go ahead and show everyone this because it is a difficult process. So you have to get his arms lined up with each other. And Lucille comes apart in this package too, which I must say, Lucille looks very, very nice. I don't really see a lot of wood grain for like wood. I mean, it still looks good. Like all the barbed wire and everything. That's even cleaner than the collar tops Negan's barbed wire. This is actually painted on very, very nicely. I don't see any silver runs or any brown runs either. Because the brown ran into the silver and the silver ran into the brown on the collar tops and the 5-inch Negan. The one that came with Glenn. So this looks very, very nice. And then the bottom of the bat right there. You have to slide it through both of his hands. It's actually a tricky process. You have to have him up like that. And then you have to do that. Get it in his hands. And then put the bottom of the bat on here. Because you can see that peg right there. Where's it? There. I have to actually be looking at it to put it on there. So it's actually a pretty difficult process. One thing gripe about this is Lucille looks like she's actually in two pieces, or three, I mean. The piece right here, the bottom of the bat itself, and then from the barbed wire up is another piece. It may just be the way the barbed wire looks, but I'm pretty sure that's a separate piece. Which doesn't really make sense since it's already two separate pieces right here. And, lastly, Negan comes with this chunk of road right here, or the gravel, where he killed Negan and Glenn. Or where he killed Negan and Glenn. Where he killed Abraham and Glenn, I mean. Now, this base has some pretty good detail to it. Lots of good texturing. And it's just cast in this charcoal color. There's no paint detail to it. Now, I actually did break this trying to get Negan onto it. Let me turn it over here. See that right there? That's a crack. Wait, where is it? Trying to get it to... No, it's not going to do it now. Oh, there it is. You can see my finger right there that I'm poking through the peg right here. He is very difficult to get on this base, and I would suggest just putting him like that. Oh no, wait, I think I have him in the wrong way. The short peg is supposed to go on the left foot. That was a little confusing to me, just because I thought I was putting it on wrong, because his right foot will not go on that peg at all. Which it actually doesn't look bad, like from back here. It actually looks pretty good, since he's standing that way. But I broke the base trying to get both feet on it. So just put one foot on. That's the way it's worked for me. And since he's a little tough to get into camera frame, he does separate very easily. I've actually had a problem with him separating too easily, because, hold on a second. If you just move him, you can see that his torso comes apart like that, like he's just barely hanging on there. If you turn it, that's what he does. So I will take him apart in half just to show the detail and stuff. So for the face sculpt, or the head sculpt, very much like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like, that is spot on. McFarlane always does an amazing job with their likenesses. That's pretty impeccable. He is a little bit, his eyes are kind of pointing out like this a little bit. But it's not a huge gripe of mine. And his beard looks pretty nice. Has that gray in it. And we're actually getting a, like Rick and Daryl, not Michonne, and Glenn have all gotten deluxe, like, extra versions, like with blood or something on this. And there's going to be a clean-cut version of Negan. That's the one I prefer because that's the way Negan is in the comics. I think he just looks better. He doesn't look right with the beard. But looks really nice. Hair sculpt looks pretty good. I do notice that right here, how the hair, that's painted on right there. The edges right there, that widow's peak. That's actually just painted on. That's not sculpted on. That's actually extra paint right there. Looking back at it like this, it looks just fine. But if you get up close, it looks a little odd. I think it would have been fine just to have his hair just the way it is. That would have been pretty nice. But there's Negan's scarf. And this has a very, very good texturing to it. It feels like an actual scarf. Yeah, that's what it is, a scarf. It's got some nice paint detail to it. Got that maroon right there and the wrinkles, which looks nice. And another nice thing is his leather jacket. The zippers are very, very cleanly painted on. The collar tops and the 5-inch Negan. The zippers were like clear over here. The one Negan, the one Negan wasn't as bad, but the one collar tops Negan, I can't remember if it was the bloody version or the normal one. The zipper was like clear down here and clear over here. It wasn't good. But the zipper's painted on nicely. The belt buckle's painted nicely. The rivets right there are on cue. They're not off like the collar tops Negan was, which is kind of odd. Maybe just because this is a bigger figure and you have less room to mess up. I don't know. I'm not sure entirely. But he has that dry brushing of a light dry brushing of charcoal gray over the leather jacket, and it reflects. Like if you have it up to the light, you can see it shining right there. Looks really nice. And they actually got his t-shirt in right here, which that was a really nice detail. Or his arm wrap. I think that may be his arm wrap. But correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think his arm wrap was on his left arm, not his right. I mean, that could be a shirt, but most of the time he just wears a t-shirt under this. I think the wrapping was over here. I'd have to rewatch the episodes again. It's just not something I've really paid that much attention to. Now, if you do try to move this, you can see that the hand right there, you'll have to put the hand back in. If you try to move, it'll do that. His arm or his hand will just fall off. And it is made so that you can only really pose him one way, which really doesn't bother me. I do like these because they're kind of like statues, but statues with articulation is kind of the best of both worlds, honestly. Because I'm not a huge statue collector, I only have a couple in my collection, and I really don't like them. But I like these because they have articulation, and it's The Walking Dead. I mean, it is Negan. How can you go wrong with Negan? So now let's go ahead and put his lower half on him. Now I can show this. The belt buckle's painted very good on this belt, not on his jacket. This is actually his belt. And his pants have such a nice texturing, it's not even funny. It has that kind of texture. Not really, just like a jean texture. Like you can tell the kind of texture it has whenever I run my fingernail up and down it. And all the seams and everything have a sculpting to them. It looks really nice. His pants look very worn, which is another great thing that I like. And in between the wrinkles in his pants has a dry brushing of brown, dark brown right there. Looks really nice. And his pants have a light dry brushing of light brown over them. It's not a lot, but it does make them look worn. Like if you're holding it right there, you can see the little bit of brown right there. This figure really goes the extra mile. I always loved these 10-inch McFarlane toys because they just go above and beyond with the detail. Like the 5-inch ones and the collar tops have great detail. Collar tops don't have the greatest articulation, but they definitely make up for that with sculpt, paint detail, likeness. It's just great. And there is Boots, looking pretty nifty. When I go to Horror Hound in March, I think it is, this is who I'm dressing as, and I finally got the right boots for these, for my outfit, my cosplay outfit. I'll try and do a video while I'm there in costume, so that'll be cool. There's his boots. Actually, I have a light texturing to them, too. It actually feels like real leather, because these are leather motorcycle boots. Buckles on them are painted pretty nicely too. And he actually has tread on the bottom of his boots, but then he has the holes right there so that you can plug him into the base, which I haven't really... Yeah, he'll just fall down because his left foot is kind of arched up like that, so he won't be able to stand on his own. Is that actually a separate piece? Yeah, if you look, his, what was that? Something happened with my video there. If you look, his belt, let me see. Actually, I might just have to take him apart like that. The belt is actually a separate piece, but it does stop right here. I never even noticed that because I really haven't taken the figure apart. I know it. I tried to turn his waist once and it fell off, but the belt just stops right there. So I suppose if you turn the Negan figure any way other than the way it's supposed to be, it'll probably look off. Like it. Yeah, it looks fine like that. You can see it on the back there. But if you try to turn it just the slightest bit, you can tell that there's no belt there. So he's really just made to be like that. Like I said, he's mainly made for one pose, but I will go over the articulation still, just for fun. He's got a ball-jointed head that can't look back at all. He can actually look down. He's actually kind of looking down anyway, because this is right when he is beating Glenn or Abraham. Kind of looks like Abraham to me, because he gets a little bloody when he beats Glenn. So, I think this is right when he's going to hit Glenn or Abraham. He is looking down, so that's why I said that. That's pretty cool. And his head can move side to side just a little bit. He's got swivel shoulders that can move up and down. But again, you have to pop the hands, both hands, the left and right hand, back in place once you do that. And his hands are on swivels, but they will fall off pretty easily. He has a swivel at the waist that gets really loose once you move it. Like I said, it's only meant to be one way, that way. But you can do swivel side to side. You can do that. Now that is looking where you're going. Like, this would definitely come in handy for me to watch where I'm going. Just be like, yeah, that definitely come in handy. And he's got a swivel at the boot. The left boot can move more than the right boot. Or the foot, I should say, but it is boot rotation. But if you move it that way, it's going to look really funny. His pants are bunched up like that, is bunched up like that in the show, but it just looks funny if you turn his feet. So he's really meant for just one pose. He does have articulation though, so you can get a couple different options. Let's put him back on his base here. Like another reason. I'll try and show it just real quick here. Putting his right foot on the base. Makes that horrible noise and just sticks up like that. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I'm also kind of hoping that since this is a chunk of the road, that we may get a Glenn or Abraham kneeling, like maybe include an alternate head. It would have been really awesome if Negan would have came with an alternate head for Glenn. So now let's go ahead and do some comparisons to the other two 10-inch figures I have. So here is Negan next to Glenn. You can see he kind of looks like he's just going to beat his shoulder, honestly. Or actually, where would he hit? Yeah, he looks like he's going to hit him in the side maybe, or arm. Doesn't really look like he's going for his head. Now, the way it's supposed to look here, let me just take this out of Glenn's hands. This is the way that I've had them posed ever since I got this. I actually just got this the other day. So let me adjust them here. So the way it's supposed to be is like that. That way, hold on here. It's supposed to be like that. So that you can see that Negan is beating Glenn. Even though Glenn's got one leg clear up in the air there. Yeah, you really can't move it around any. But that's what I'd do. It would have been very, very awesome if McFarlane Toys would have added Bastion Glenn head for this figure, just as an add-on for this. That way you kind of had to buy both. That would have actually been a very good advertising thing. Like, you know, you have to buy this figure to get a head for this figure. And if you don't have this figure, you need to get this figure, then this figure. That would have been a great thing to do, but nope, they didn't do that. Where's Daryl? Okay, yeah, I found him. So here he is next to Daryl. You can see they're both not really looking at each other. Like, Daryl's looking at Negan's shoulder, and Negan's like, man, I like your shoes. Actually, it kind of looks like he's looking at his knee, so he likes his knee. he really likes these jeans, that's what it is. Like, Daryl's like, hey, I like your leather jacket. He's like, hey, I like your jeans. So, actually, that doesn't look too bad together. Because they're both looking down, so there's that. There. So, that's my review of The Walking Dead 10-inch Negan. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this. Let me get it right back there. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this, but I really am. I really like it. I mean, if you're going to display him, it would be good to have this Glenn. That way you can put him at his feet, because he is looking down. But that really doesn't bother me, because I am a huge Negan fan. Everyone knows that already. And I would highly recommend this. It's worth the $30. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.